Imagine this. A nation that once invaded the Philippines during World War II is now one of its strongest allies, handing over powerful warships at a time of rising tensions in the South China Sea. Japan's recent move to send 6 advanced vessels to the Philippines has shocked many, raising the question, why now? And what's the real catch behind this unprecedented military gift? Let's break it down. In early 2025, Tokyo confirmed the delivery of 6 multi-role response vessels, warships designed for patrol, search and rescue, and maritime defense, to the Philippine Coast Guard. On paper, these are meant to strengthen Manila's ability to protect its exclusive economic zone, secure vital trade routes, and respond to emergencies at sea. But look closer, and you'll see this is more than a goodwill gesture. It's part of a wider strategy to counterbalance China's growing naval presence. For the Philippines, it's a lifeline, new hardware for a country struggling to defend its territorial waters. For Japan, it's a chess move in a high-stakes regional game. What makes these warships special? While these vessels aren't massive destroyers or aircraft carriers, they are far from ordinary. Each ship comes with state-of-the-art radar and communication systems, capable of tracking multiple vessels at once. High-speed engines allowing them to outmaneuver larger ships. Longer patrol endurance enabling Philippine crews to stay out at sea for extended missions. Helipad capacity, giving them the ability to support helicopters or drones for surveillance. Think of them as the Swiss Army knives of the sea, versatile, reliable, and designed for asymmetric defense. Against China's massive fleet of over 350 warships, 6 vessels may sound small. But in the world of maritime strategy, agility often beats size. So, what's Japan's motive? There are several layers to this gift. First, protecting trade routes. Nearly $3.5 trillion worth of trade passes through the South China Sea every year. Both Japan and the Philippines rely heavily on these waters. If China dominates them, Tokyo's economy could choke. By strengthening Manila, Japan is indirectly protecting itself. Second, there's the strategic alliance with the United States. Japan knows the Philippines is America's oldest ally in Asia. By backing Manila, Tokyo strengthens its trilateral partnership with Washington, creating a united front against Beijing. Third, sending a message to China. Every new vessel Japan sends is a reminder. The South China Sea is not for China alone. It signals that Manila isn't isolated, that global powers stand with it. And finally, historical redemption. Let's not forget history. Japan once occupied the Philippines during World War II, leaving scars still remembered by older generations. By supporting Manila today, Tokyo shows it has transformed from an aggressor into a protector. Now here's where it gets interesting. Is Japan really giving away 6 warships for free? Not exactly. First, catch loans and aid packages. Most of these vessels are part of Japan's official development assistance program. That means they're technically funded by low-interest loans, generous but not entirely free. Second, catch strategic leverage. By supplying these warships, Japan gains influence over Philippine defense policies. It ensures Manila stays aligned with Tokyo's broader Indo-Pacific security agenda. Third, catch shared responsibility. Japan expects Manila to play a more active role in regional security. In other words, we'll help you, but you have to step up too. So while the headlines scream gift, the fine print reveals it's also a calculated investment. Predictably, Beijing isn't happy. State media outlets have accused Japan of militarizing Southeast Asia, framing the deal as an attempt to encircle China. But here's the irony. It's China's own aggression that pushed the Philippines and Japan closer together. By deploying Coast Guard ships and harassing Filipino fishermen, Beijing created the very alliances it now fears. In fact, China now faces a nightmare scenario. Multiple regional powers coordinating in the South China Sea, each one determined to limit Beijing's dominance. The Philippines' advantage. For the Philippines, these warships are more than just steel and engines. They represent a turning point. Deterrence. China now has to think twice before sending vessels into Philippine waters. Confidence. Filipino sailors know they're not standing alone anymore. Capability. With advanced radar and speed, these ships can monitor and report incidents faster than ever before. And perhaps most importantly, they symbolize international recognition. The world isn't ignoring the Philippines, it's investing in its future. The bigger picture, a new security network. This deal isn't happening in isolation, it's actually part of a wider web of defense cooperation. The US is expanding access to military bases in Luzon and Palawan. Meanwhile, Australia is conducting joint patrols with the Philippines. South Korea is offering new defense technology. France and the UK are sending warships for joint exercises. And now, Japan steps in with 6 vessels. Put together, these moves form a shield across the Indo-Pacific. One where the Philippines is no longer the weak link, but a key player. The future, will more warships come? Here's the real question. Is this just the beginning? Military planners don't see Japan's 6 warships as a one-time gift. Instead, they see it as the first move in a long-term strategy. Some analysts believe Japan could eventually provide advanced patrol ships designed for long-range surveillance of the South China Sea. Others suggest drones, unmanned aircraft that could monitor disputed waters day and night, without putting pilots at risk. And then there's the possibility of missile defense systems, something that would completely change the Philippines' ability to defend itself against modern threats. If these predictions come true, the Philippines could soon have one of the most capable maritime defense networks in Southeast Asia. That's a huge leap for a country that, for decades, struggled with outdated equipment and limited resources. But beyond the hardware, there's something even bigger on the horizon. Some security experts whisper about a future Japan-Philippines Mutual Defense Pact, a treaty that would legally bind both nations to defend each other if attacked. Imagine the message that would send. It wouldn't just be 2 countries cooperating, it would be a historic alliance reshaping Asia's balance of power for generations to come. And here's the twist. Such a pact would also pull in other partners. The United States, Australia, and even European allies would see it as a foundation for a broader security network. Suddenly, the Philippines wouldn't just be an ally, it would be a linchpin. The frontline state that holds the coalition together. So what's the truth behind Japan's 6 warships? Yes, they strengthen the Philippines Navy. Yes, they send a powerful warning to China. And yes, they come with a catch. Because in geopolitics, there's always a catch. For Japan, this means greater influence in the Pacific. For the Philippines, it means new responsibilities, new risks, and the possibility of being drawn into conflicts it didn't start. And for the region, it means the uneasy balance between peace and rivalry just tilted a little further toward confrontation. But beyond the strategies and headlines, there's something deeper here. Symbolism. For ordinary Filipinos, these ships are not just steel and engines. They are proof that their country matters. Proof that after years of being underestimated, ignored, or seen as powerless, the Philippines has become too important to leave on the sidelines. The Philippines is no longer just a small nation in Asia. It's becoming the stage where the world's biggest players make their moves. A front line in a global contest where allies like Japan are willing to invest not just words, but real ships, real money, and real trust. And in the end, that may be the biggest win of all, not just stronger defenses, but a stronger voice. A voice that says, the Philippines is here, it matters, and the world is finally listening. The Philippines is no longer just a small nation in Asia. It's becoming the front line of a global contest, where allies like Japan are willing to invest real ships, real money, and real trust. And in the end, that may be the biggest win of all. But here's the question that lingers. Will this path lead to peace through strength, or will it push the region closer to the brink of conflict? What do you think? Are Japan's warships a shield protecting the Philippines, or the first step towards something far more dangerous?